Lutherans elect first transgender bishop. So I thought this was interesting. We had 2 Christianity LGBT related news this week. So on May 18th, Reverend Megan Rohrer, that's tough, who, by the way, uses they, them pronouns, was elected bishop of the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America's Sierra Pacific Synod. Which is like kind of a region. They are the first transgender person to serve as a bishop in the church or in any of the U.S.'s major Christian faiths. So this is like the first American transgender bishop. Rohrer, community chaplain. Rivka's killing me.
Just say Megan.
Okay. Megan. A community chaplain coordinator for the San Francisco Police Department, was the first transgender person to be appointed in the ELCA in 2006 and served as pastor when called to serve Grace Lutheran Church in 2014. They are well known for advocating for LGBT rights and street activism, preaching, and writing. They have also attained minor celebrity status due to appearances on the television series Queer Eye and appearances in Time Magazine and Cosmopolitan. Megan said their priorities would be to hire communications professionals to lead a significant evangelism effort to promote low-income housing.
You know what I'm going to say about this, right?
I know.
You already know. I mean, can you blame me though? Because is it not transphobic if you don't hold somebody to the same standards? Like, I criticize anybody for endorsing the Lutheran Church, right? So I'm gonna hold people to the same standard. Like, this is you using your identity as a way to promote this backward, ancient, bigoted, harmful, wasteful ideology.
Or a lie, or something that you can't prove to be true.
Yes. Transgender people do not need the Lutheran Church. This is an ideology that was against LGBT to its very core. These are institutions and organizations that have held back progress. They do not need to be celebrated. They do not need to be promoted. They do not to be made, kept relevant. They need to be called out, right? And so I don't want somebody's identity to be used as a way to promote this barbaric ideologies, right? Again, the same way that we will criticize a cisgender bishop for spewing nonsense and endorsing an institution that needs to stop existing, right? We will do the same thing with the transgender bishop. This transgender bishop is spreading Lutheran nonsense, Christian nonsense, selling lies, making a living out of selling lies. And we will criticize, what is their pronouns?
They, them.
We will criticize them the same way we criticize cisgender people who are spreading lies.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I mean, speaking of my own experience for living in the San Francisco Bay Area for almost 7 years now, which is crazy. It would be San Francisco where this happens.
Hey guys, if you're a fan of blasphemy and sexy Kali, like me, then that means that you probably want more blasphemous art. Well, I have good news for you. If you subscribe to our newsletter, link in the description below, then you get a free booklet of some of the tastiest blasphemous art available today. So, if you want some of this delicious blasphemy, and we're so generous that we update it for you guys weekly for free, all you have to do is sign up for our newsletter below. You can also go to blasphemousart.com blasphemous.com/ebook. That's blasphemousart.com/ebook. Sign up with your email, and you get free gifts of this tasty blasphemy. What could be better? So make sure you sign up. Link below.
San Francisco has, I mean, I don't have any data or facts to back this up. It just seems like a disproportionate amount of LGBT like faith organizations. There's a lot. It's really big. We even have like basically like an LGBT Catholic church. And so to me, this wasn't surprising that it happened here. I used to work for a lesbian rabbi. So, but
that's pretty been common since like the 90s. Come on.
Yeah. But she was at a Catholic university, which makes it a little bit more interesting. But so given my experience of working for a lesbian faith leader, you know, in an Abrahamic religion, their relationship to religion is very different. And in fact, I even have a book here called Queering the Text. And it's kind of this practice of like basically applying queer theory to religious scripture, which is just fascinating. And they really like to highlight how the newer generations of LGBT Americans are more religious than previous generations have been. Or at least that's subsequent generations are becoming more religious. But however, the percentage of LGBT adults who are religious is actually still minority. But they would celebrate that. Like, look, we're being accepted. Things are getting better for us. It's like, yes, but also you're promoting something that is ultimately harmful for you and kind of validating this idea that is deadly harmful to other people in other places.
So I want to say that Armin said that, you know, transgender persons don't need religion, right? And I want to finish the sentence by saying religion needs these transgender people, because going back, and the reason being, or any people, they need people to fill the pews and fill the collection plates. And so this is going back to the discussion we were having earlier, the first piece of news about the German bishops. Same thing. This is the customer shopping. It's good marketing. You know, you've got to change your product and, you know, your slogans to fit with the times if you want to keep the customers coming through the door. Number one. And number two, to your point about the younger LGBT people being more religious, this is exactly what I was talking about previously too, that oftentimes once things become more accepted and they have more equity, then they often groups will want to put on the trappings of the dominant group that was denying them all these other things. So
exactly, it makes sense. It's very much a survival tactic. Like, look, we can gain power in these institutions too. We can gain representation in these institutions too, but is that worthwhile?
Right. Or we can be just like the people, anybody else. We're just like anybody else. And now that we are more accepted, or we can marry whom we choose, so therefore we're going to conduct ourselves very often just like the dominant group as well.
Mm-hmm. And religious leaders do have a lot of power in San Francisco.
Right. So yes, transgender people are just like everybody else, and they could, just like transgender people could do so many great things just like everybody else, they could also spread lies and nonsense like everybody else, and we will criticize them just like everybody else. I do want to, yeah.
Sorry, this is just a thought that came to me. One thing that I remember about working for like an LGBT faith leader was a lot of it is trying to insert kind of your own stories into things. It's like, so we take this biblical story, and how can we queer this? How can we make this queer? How can we make this something we like? And that always kind of confused me, because it's like, that's a very different way of thinking about God's word. and it's inconsistent, and it seems like you're just trying to insert or put something on it that it's not, but you just want to like make it that way.
Right. Okay.
Or
I
you're
need to,
uncomfortable with
okay.
it, so you want to make it something you're comfortable with.
Guys, I've been waiting so long. I'm going to go for let me now finish a couple of points. Okay.
Mhm.
I need to start smacking some comments in the live chat. Okay. So secular rights saying, oh, Armin, you are right. Megan is still incorrect, but at least Lutherans are getting more accepting. You don't need acceptance from institutions that are representing lies and bigotry and dogma. It's not, what's happening is not that what you should pay attention to is that it's not Megan that needs the church's acceptance. It's the church that needs Megan's acceptance. Megan is on the movement that is winning. Lutheran, like every form of Christianity, all religion as a whole, is on the movement that is dying. Megan doesn't need religion. Religion needs Megan. Megan is doing religion a favor because she's going up and she's winning. Religion is losing, and religion is like, Megan, take me with me. You were dying. And Megan is holding their hand. Megan is like, I'm winning without you. I don't need you. We will win without you. Okay? We don't need your acceptance. Your acceptance is irrelevant to us. We will prosper without you acknowledging us. You could go the way of the dodo. Okay? Let me see. Narum is saying, yes, we were anti-LGBT before, but we welcome them now, just like women's rights have become okay. Yeah, just like the church has fought against women's rights until it was forced to accept it. So
They still do. What?
Yeah. Okay,
Abortion
so
much?
you think you welcome them? They should say, we don't need you. They're like, oh, we're dying. Our religion is dying. Look at it. We're opening the door to you. Please come keep us relevant. And you should show them the middle finger. You say, like, you could go F yourselves. We don't need you to open the door to us. That's what the response should be. What else here? Jim Holdy is saying, asking trans people to give up their families and religion all at once is a bit harsh. Hey, great thing. I'm not asking them that. It's like coming out of the closet once versus twice, once an atheist and again as trans. Okay, guys, when you encourage people to slowly question what they're endorsing, you're not telling them to like, hey, I hate you unless you do completely, just because you're highlighting something problematic to somebody, that doesn't mean that if you don't endorse baby steps, okay? You can endorse baby steps without endorsing a crappy ideology, right? Just because I say, for example, Islam is a horrible religion and that deserves no excuse and no endorsement and no legitimacy and no authority and no apologetic arguments or anything like that, that doesn't mean that, oh, if you're a Muslim, I do not accept you because you have to be an atheist and nothing else, right? Like if a Muslim is still Muslim, I'm like, if we could encourage them to be like, hey, maybe some of these views I need to rethink them or re-examine them, or even if they don't, okay, even if they don't examine anything and they just accept us criticizing their religion, I accept people. I also endorse baby steps, but baby steps happen because of this unforgiving positions that we have against nonsense, right? So we will keep our unforgiving positions against nonsense because they promote baby steps. All right. That just because I'm not willing to let go of these principles, that doesn't mean that slow progress is not welcome. So there's no contradiction between these two positions. What else want to say? Okay, this is the same thing. All right, here. Wait, is a Q word is now something that we can say on YouTube? I'm not gonna say it. A lot of LGBT people I know go from Christianity to Wicca or New Age. Okay, so that's not a question or comment. Okay, look at this. You guys really don't understand me, do you? Neremi is saying, follow-up question. Does that mean you throw progressive religious people who fight for rights of women, LGBT, etc.? No. How? Oh, God, this guy is so simple. I do not have to agree with you to endorse your activism, okay? Here's an example. Let's say somebody is a Muslim, all right, and they're fighting for Muslims in China. Okay, I can work with this person. I could work with them alongside with them. I could promote their activism. I could endorse their activism. I could highlight them. I could encourage them. I could celebrate their activism when they're fighting CCP to fight for Muslim rights in China. I can do that. Does that mean that I have to say Islam is okay? Does that mean that I have to say Islam is does not promote slavery, that is not anti-woman, that is not anti-democracy, that is anti-secularism? I can still say those things. Even, let's say like there's a Muslim hijabi woman that is fighting for women rights, okay, or gay rights, okay. Can I work with this person? Yes, I can. Can I celebrate their activism? Yes, I can. Do I have to say, hey, Islam is there for pro-gay rights because I'm working with this Muslim woman who's fighting for gay rights? No. I can at the same time say Islam is definitely not pro-gay rights while working with a Muslim who is fighting for gay rights. Do you not see how this is not a contradiction? Rivka, you had your hand up?
Wait, this is hilarious. Do I not have to say that Islam is blah, blah, blah? Who's saying, yes, you have to say that.
Aw, that's kind of cute, though. Yes, you do.
Islam is
You do.
best.
Islam is best. Aw. So, okay.
Hussein's really giving it his all.
Yeah, right on cue. I love it. Nothing if not consistent.
Wow, look at this. Gaysian American saying, just to be clear, I know you're not pro-CCP. I wouldn't support you all otherwise. You just use a lot of the same vocab. No, I don't. I've read their vocab. This is not the same vocab that they use. In fact, they use better propaganda to make them seem like they're even pro-Islam, right? That's the kind of propaganda that they use. Also, I've heard that, Susanna, I have very credible reports. Rivka, you could correct me if this is wrong, because I know you also know your stuff, okay? I have credible reports that CCP members drink water, and they also eat food, and I think they sleep at night as well. I also think they defecate. I think like they have sex. Some of them have sex. So these are also similarities that I have with some CCP members. I don't know if this is for sure, but there's also these similarities.
I have it on good authority.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
as a medical professional, I can also agree that human beings do the above mentioned actions, whether you're in CCP or non-CCP.
So yeah, these are other similarities that I have with CCP members.
Yeah, I mean, you do use strong language, but it's often against people's ideologies, not their rights, their humanity itself. And yeah.
Also, here's another language that I use. Fuck the CCP.
Whoa.
Okay? I wonder, does the CCP use similar language now to me? Huh? Like, do they use that? No. Yeah. All right. Okay.
Armin, I approve of your message.
Hey guys, YouTube has fully demonetized our channel for supposedly hateful and harmful conduct, without telling us what we did wrong. If we get to 1,000 patrons, we will be able to keep paying all our team, our editors, our artists, without ever having to worry about monetization again, which would be amazing. Yay! So please support Atheist Republic on Patreon. Link in the description below.